Hey, welcome back to Alum House Sound. My name is Dave, and today we're going to talk about something I do at least twice a month, if not every week, to make sure that my mix is staying as good as it can with only one sound tech at our church. All right, so we flipped around today. We're in a little bit different scenario. We're going to take a peek at our live stream, my church's live stream. Now, in a previous video, I talked about how we had a new female vocalist, and we used the channel strip compressor as a single banded compressor. It was very specific, kind of in that 700 hertz frequency range, because when she flips from her chest voice up to her head voice and then kind of hits the belt range for her, that frequency range just kind of drives through everything. And because of that, I wanted to put a multi-band compressor on her. We don't have a multi-band compressor on our X32, so I tried to find the best way to use the tools that I had between EQ, channel strip compression, and then I'm currently running an LA2A emulation built into the board, the Leisure compressor. I'm running that as an overall compressor on my two lead vocalists. So we talked through that video. If you haven't seen it, I'll link that down in the description below. But today what I want to do is jump back into our broadcast. I want to review this just briefly. I want to see how those changes acted in the mix the following week, as well as just check the overall mix. And if we see anything that we want to make a change to, because we've made a couple other changes here in the past 4 weeks, I'm going to go ahead and take you guys along with me for the ride, if you will, vlog style, and we can jump into where we keep all of our equipment, pull it out, and make any changes we need to. So let's jump in and hit the review of this broadcast, and we'll see where we go from there.
He's never let me down. He's faithful through generations.
So when she goes up to generations, it starts to bite through. That's what we're trying to compress, and we've done that here. So this is actually really good sounding right now. Let's see. But when she's in that lower register, we're not removing the warmth of her voice. Let's hear when she jumps up.
I got peace that makes no sense, so I won't be going under.
Trying to keep that warmth in there while still keeping everything in control. Let's hear this. All right, so that's pretty good. That's not a bad listen to. There are some other things that I'd like to do within the overall mix. I think her voice is a little hot in the mix compared to everything else, so I kind of feel like I could bring everything else up, but as you and I both know, we can either bring everything else up or just bring her down a little bit. So what I want to do is listen back. I'd like to have a little bit more snare drum in it. Let me find another spot that we can listen to that's got kind of big full band happening here. So I'm listening through. I think there's a little bit that I want to do with the EQ on the bass, a little bit more warmth out of the drums, maybe in the toms if I can, and bring that snare drum, the snare top mic up a little bit. So we'll pause on that. So overall, what I'm hearing is that the vocal changes are working well, right? The compression that we did, the single banded compression, the LA2A, that's really doing a good thing to control her voice, make it way more even and sit well in the mix. Now, that being said, we've got a couple of changes we want to make in this mix. And so I do think it's worth taking a quick trip into the church. That means, unfortunately, for me, you're watching this whenever you watch it, but for me, that means that I'm going to be headed in around 6 a.m. one morning. So we're going to head in, we'll pull out the console. We've got to find an extension cord to plug in. We'll make some changes right there on the board, and then we'll pack it up and see how it goes next week. All right, let's head to the church here in the morning time.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. This is how it works as a tech director, which is part-time in a setup teardown church, and you also have a full-time day job and kids. So it's 5:30. We just got to our venue here. This is the Bird Theater right behind me. So we're gonna just unlock it, go on in. We're just gonna squeak around in the dark. There's an extension cord in there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the soundboard out, and we're just gonna set it up, plug it in, fire it up, make a couple changes to the scene. Just after reviewing the service this past week, we're gonna make a couple changes to the scene. We're gonna save it there. And then our building is just about a block up here. And we've got a couple things I need to do with some cables that we used to use over the summertime in this space. They're still just wrapped up on the floor, about 150 feet worth of cable. And I need to just unzip tie them and wrap them up individually so that they can be stored well. But that's what we're gonna do right now. So let's hop on in. A little bit of light, but nothing in here. Phew, let's turn on, can't turn on my light while I'm on the phone recording. So we're going down to the bottom. There's an exit sign. Whew, way down there. That's where we're headed. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, so we're gonna roll the soundboard out, and we're literally just gonna stick it right here on the floor, and then we're gonna come just through this curtain. We got some power over there, the orchestra pit that you can't see. Yeah, we just do this in the dark because there's no point in turning all the lights on. So let's roll this thing out. All right, so we've got the X32 here. I do have to grab some power, but let me go ahead and open up the dog box real quick. That side and this side. Yep, and so we keep all kinds of stuff back here. If I just kind of walk you through this, we've got our headphones for broadcast mixing and soloing. We've got a router down here in the bottom. That is the router that our band uses to connect into this thing if they are running monitors or if I'm mixing wirelessly. There's our power cable over there. We've got a USB cable that I can use for when I'm multi-track recording. We've got our AES-50A cable right here, which goes to the stage. And then we've also got a set of RCA cables that have an 1/8" headphone jack to go over to ProPresenter so that we can get audio right from ProPresenter into the desk for front of house. But let's go get some power, hook this thing up, fire it up, and make a couple changes. All right, we got power. Let's get this thing. It's kind of hard to do one-handed. There we go. Connected and fire it up. All right, so I've got the whole board here. Now, I don't want to change anything in terms of the main mix. I do want to do one thing, though. Our pastor got a new mic, and so what I'm going to come in here and do, I was refining the settings even behind the drum kit at the very end of the service. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to select the pastor's mic. And again, we're using libraries for a lot of stuff now. So I'm going to hit library, and I'm just going to scroll down to the very bottom because that's where we have a lot of our individual things we've saved. I need to delete just all of these default settings, but here we are. All right, so we're going to go to this new mic, and I'm just going to go ahead and save. Oh, come on, light. I'm just going to go ahead and hit the save button, and we've got a naming in there. That's fine. I can hit save, and then it says, do you really want to do that? And I'll hit confirm. All right, so those settings that I had in there which again, it's everything in the channel strip. So it's the name, it's the gain structure, it's the EQ and compression. It's also the send amount going into broadcast. So if I select broadcast and hit sends on fader, it's also keeping that send amount for that individual channel. So hopefully next week the things stay refined and stay set up really good. Now, the next thing I want to do, though, since I'm here in broadcast, I've got my broadcast mix selected, sends on fader. Now we can make some adjustments to my channels. So this is what my fader structure looks like going into broadcast. It's a happy blend between the dry channels and then my wet, that goes into reverb. So if I back it up over here, reverb is over here, and these are the sends. And I have a top end reverb, and again, these are the returns, so it's 2 per effect. But I've got a top end reverb for just vocals. I've got a drum reverb. This is my all verb. So this is band and just a lot of people. This is my longer tail verb. And then I've got a delay for vocals. And some of the things that I really liked, I liked the amount of reverb and delay that we had on the vocals. So I'm really not going to change those at all. What I want to do is come back up here to my top layer. And I needed a little bit more of my snare drum, my top snare drum mic, which is going to have the body of the drum. So I'm just going to push that up like 3 dB. Now keep in mind where these are. Here, Unity is way up here. So this is pretty low down here, meaning that the algorithm, if you will, it needs to be taken into account that any small change down here is going to have kind of a big impact. So I wanted to add a little bit of top snare mic. I want to add a little bit more raw electric guitar. So I'm going to bring him up just a little bit. All right, let's look at keys over here. Keys are pretty good. Our pads, I turned our pads off. We didn't need that. But I'm going to pull those down just a little bit and go ahead and unmute those in my default thing. We've had some challenges with my DI box making noises. We weren't using pads. We were just running keys. He was running Sunday keys. Crowd mics are good, except I had a challenge, which maybe I need to look at with my crowd mic. Only one of them was working this past week. And so I need to, while I'm here, just crawl up in the ceiling and check into that. Maybe I'll take you up there with me. But with that in mind, let me go ahead and set this back to how it was. So I need to turn off sends on fader. I ended up unlinking them, and I just panned the one that I had right in the center because I only had one working. I didn't want just a crowd mic on the left. That would be weird. So I've got to come in there, select the channel. Let's come up here to the home screen. We're going to relink. I don't know if you can see that this top light turned off, but I'm going to relink it. Do you really want to link it? Yes. Let's confirm. And what that's going to give me now, this is the left channel. You can see that I'm panned hard left. My next one flips over, and now I'm panned hard right. These do not go into the main bus, so that is deselected, which is good. And everything else is going to be normal. The other thing that I wanted to think about was the tail on my reverb. The all verb, I really like the tail, but sometimes it's a little much. And if I don't have people that are actively adjusting things on the fly, I'm kind of building to the lowest common denominator to get the best sound with the least amount of work. So with that in mind, I'm going to come up and click on my effects. Click on effects here. I want to go to my third effect. Now this is going to be kind of hard. Oh yeah, that light's bad. All right, let's see. So I've got my ambience for my top end reverb. Then the next one is, let me see which one all right, there we go. The next one is my room verb. That is for the drums. And then I've got a hall verb. And this is way different. I've been adjusting these over the years. But I'm going to click on this and edit it. And what I want to do is, right now my decay, which is right here, kind of hard to see. Come on, will it focus? I don't know. All right, that decay is set to almost 3 seconds. I'm going to kick it down just a little bit. I'm going to come down to, 2.3 seconds. So we're not trying to make huge changes. We're not trying to say we have no reverb and then we have all of the reverb. We're just trying to make little small changes, little tweaks along the way, just to refine things. We're just kind of chiseling little bits off of the side, a little sandpaper here and there, if you will. I don't know if you ever work on wood or not, but anyway, we're not trying to just like bulk cut things down like a tree, if you will. We're just trying to really refine things with little small changes. And again, we're trying to build to the lowest common denominator of my mix engineers who can come in, and I want them to do 3 things on any given event. I want them to set the gain, I want them to get the room to feel right, and then I want them to make sure that nothing is peaking in our broadcast mix. That's 3 things. So they've got one thing that they do with their eyes, set the gain. The next thing, they just make the room sound good. And the room is pretty easy to sound good, but they make the room sound good. And then the third thing is they're just putting the headphones on during rehearsal, at the end of rehearsal, and making sure that nothing is peaking, that nothing is too loud, and that our levels stay into the right point. That's it. And this mix should be 90% of the way there, okay? And so now what I've done is I've just altered. I've added a little bit of top snare drum mic, add a little bit more body and whack into it. I didn't need more sizzle on it. I don't need more toms. I don't need more cymbals. All of that stuff sounded fine. It was there in the mix. If you listen for it, you could hear it. I don't need more bass guitar. The bass guitar was fine and supportive. Acoustic, that was fine. I do need to save these settings, now that I think about it, for her acoustic, because it's way different than the normal acoustic that we have, and I was adjusting that as well from stage in my ears. So let me make a change. I got to save that in the library. But outside of that, again, just a couple small changes. All right, y'all, that's it. Just a short video. I ended up having to attend to something else in the backstage there. Had a dolly that was on top of a subwoofer. They updated their PA and they took my dolly. And so my front of house guys were just struggling to put the top speakers back on the right place. Anyway, got that done. Not going down the street right now. I'll do that another day or morning or nighttime. Who knows? The odd hours of the day that we end up working. But that's it for now. Hey, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace.